Started here with the company February 15th, 2010. It's a little over 2.5 years ago. And I got started at a point in time where I really had to do something different. I had to make some drastic changes in my life. And I was one of those kids that was, always an inspired entrepreneur. I always wanted to be my own boss. I hated the idea of, being told what to do. I was one of those anti-authority type people. And, the boss and I never got along. And I was always just that kid that wanted to start different businesses and really try to design my own life. And I got started with a couple of different businesses. I was a failed entrepreneur for many years. Started a couple different companies, 7 to be exact, and failed at all of them. And I did all things textbook-wise. I went to university. I got a great education. I went and got a degree in computer science. I was the only kid that managed to turn a 4-year program into 6.5, but I finished. And my parents were very excited because I was the first kid in our genealogy ever to graduate from school. So my parents were very excited about that, and they taught me the philosophies that we're all taught: that you go to school, you get a good education. That education will get you a good what? Job. Good job, right? You got to get a good job, get a good pension, and we're taught that job will take care of us for the rest of our what? Life. Right. And that was what I was taught as well. A lot like you guys here in the room, and we all know now more than ever that that's fact or fiction. Fiction, eh? And at the time I didn't really realize it. I just knew that I didn't want to work for somebody else because I left that degree and I went and got a job at the government. Can you imagine me working at the government? It happened for 4 months. And, it was okay. I didn't mind it for those 4 months. I didn't mind the hour and a half whining and complaining and that it took me to get to work. And I didn't mind the hour and a half whining and complaining to get home. But the 8-hour wait in the middle sucked. It was terrible. And after 4 months of doing that, I definitely realized that is not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. As I, looked around and, I was a part of that culture, I decided that I didn't want to do it. The 40 by 40 by 40 plan was not something that I wanted to be a part of. The idea of working at a job for 40 years, hoping that, that job would take care of me when I graduated, in anticipation of getting that butterball turkey when I graduated after 40 years, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And I had seen enough people do it and seen enough people try it, and I just knew that I wanted to break outside and do something. So I started 7 companies and failed at every one of them. And my parents basically said, after company number 4 and company number 3, they said, "You're absolutely crazy. Why don't you just go and get a job? And why don't you go and work for somebody else?" And I just didn't want to do it. However, at the point in time where I was in my life in December of 2009, I found myself in a very odd predicament. And that predicament was that I was $100,000 in debt, owed to the government. Anybody ever owe any money to the government? IRS? It's not fun. I managed to, steer clear of them for a little while, a year or two, and eventually they tracked me down and said, "Hey, we want our money, or you're looking at jail time." And I don't know if you guys can imagine, I might not be the stereotypical guy that would survive in jail. I was like, I'd love to go rob a bank or something. I'm going to jail. And, I had to come up with $100,000, and I had to do it extremely quickly. And, I was looking at different options. I was thinking on going back to one of my other companies that I had built. It was a computer security company. But at that point in time, I believe that everything happens for a while. You guys believe that? Everything happens for a reason? And I do. I believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that, I had to be in that position in my life in order to become open to looking at other things. If you had hit me with, Visalis talked about it a couple months before that, would I have got joined or would I have got started? Who knows? Probably not. However, at that point in time, due to the circumstances that happened, I became open to looking at it. And I went and looked at the same information that you guys looked at. And just like you guys are here right now, the guests here in the room, you guys came here because you're open to looking at something. You came here in anticipation that hopefully you would see something that rang home with you, and I hope that you have found something here. I hope that you have heard something that has given you hope and that has inspired you to know and to understand that there is something here that could be for you if you let it be for you. And the fact that you're here means that you're open to the idea of it. And, I was at that exact same position. I was at that exact same moment in time in my life where I said, hey, you know what, enough's enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I needed to make some money. And my now fiance at the time said, you really need to go and do something. And, she was working 7 days a week, put food on the table. We were 6 months behind in rent, 6 months behind in phone bills, 6 months behind in, every single bill that you could possibly imagine. And then one beautiful, snowy Christmas afternoon, she was out at work, and I'm sitting at my computer desk really trying to figure things out. And I look out the window, and through the beautiful snowflakes that were falling, this great big black shadow of a tow truck pulls up and proceeds to take my car. That was rock bottom at that point in time. And right there was when I said, enough's enough. And maybe for you, it wasn't your car getting towed, it wasn't being threatened to go to jail. Maybe it was just the fact that, you woke up one morning and, realized that you weren't spending enough time with your family. Maybe you just had a kid, or maybe you've got, other things that you really wanted to be doing other than what you're doing right now. And, maybe that little shift for you wasn't as drastic as is for me, but, I believe that everybody goes through those changes and they go through those shifts. And, through great circumstances, becomes more open and more opportunity tends to present itself. I got started with Ambassasor. At that point in time, I went and took a look at it. February 15th, we got started, and we just basically loved the opportunity of it. We loved what the company stood for. We loved the philosophies that the company had created, the founders had created. Nick told me that basically, Jay, you can do quite well at this. All you have to do is blend shakes and play DVDs and cash checks. I said, well, that sounds legal. Where do I sign? After I did a bit of due diligence, I was skeptical looking at things. I wasn't the easy sale, that's for sure. Even the position that I was in, I was still skeptical. A lot like you guys were probably skeptical when you took a look at it, or maybe you're still skeptical. And, for me, I was extremely skeptical when I looked at it. And however, after doing a bit of due diligence and researching the company a little bit, researching the industry as a whole, I became very excited. It was one of those things that the more you looked into it, the more due diligence you did, the more excited I became. I found out that this industry has been around for decades and decades, about 80 years, and has created more millionaires than any industry before it. It does about $60 billion a year, and it's just an absolutely incredible vehicle for entrepreneurs to be able to get out and do something different other than working at the 40 by 40 by 40. When I looked at Ambassasor, I found it was backed by a $1.6 billion publicly traded company. A lot of guys with gray hair who have started a lot of successful companies was backing it and running it. I saw an entrepreneurship heart from the founders that were there. I saw a real ability to be able to get out there and make a difference in my circle of friends, in my life, in my city, as well as right across my country. That was the biggest thing. That really was the biggest thing. When I looked at what this company was all about and what they were doing and the difference that they were truly making, guys, I want you to do me a favor here for 1 second. If you yourself or you know somebody yourself has been affected by obesity or obesity-related diseases, meaning it's, cholesterol or high blood pressure or anything like that, I want you to raise your hand. If you or somebody you know has been affected, I want you to put your hand up really high. Put your hand up high. Now, guys, I want you to look around the room just for a second. Just for a second. About 80% of the room, if more, has been affected by obesity or some related disease. When I saw an opportunity to be able to make a difference in that aspect, more people are dying from obesity-related diseases than they ever have from smoking. Yet look at the stance that we've taken against smoking. Look at what we've done against that. And then what are we doing against obesity? It's running rampant and it's absolutely killing us. And I saw an ability to be able to get in there and make a difference in that aspect. Do you think McDonald's or do you think Burger King or any of those people are going to step up and make a difference and really say, hey, you know what, we got to do something about this? No, absolutely not. If something's going to change, it's got to be us. Who does it have to be? Us. It's up to us to do something about it. And then we couple that with where we're at in the economy right now, with good people every single day getting put out of jobs, educated individuals who saw, dreams of being able to retire and live the life that they deserve to live, being shut down and pulled out and, not being able to have that money that they thought they were going to be able to have. It's a huge problem. There's two major issues that are going on right now in North America, and that is obesity and it's job creations. And I saw the ability for Ambassasor to be able to plug in and to be able to make an impact, make a dent, to truly make a difference in both of those avenues. And I looked around my friends. I was in a position, I was $100,000 in debt, but it wasn't just me. It's not like I was the black sheep of my group. One of my best friends, he had just moved, he had just lost his job, he lost everything, and because of money, it's like 3/4 of divorces are happening because of money-related issues. And this guy was the same thing. He had money troubles, lost his job, didn't have any income. They started fighting, they broke up. He's 31 years old, moves back into his parents' basement at 31 years old with 3 kids, divorced. My other best friend had to put his wife in a position where she was working a Tim Hortons drive-thru and had to work the night shift because it made an extra $1.25. And story upon story upon story upon story, just from my circle of friends. And I said, this can't just be us. It's got to be other people as well. And I huddled those guys up and said, hey, listen, I'm not saying that we're going to get rich quick, just the same as I'm not saying that to you. I'm not saying that this could be the opportunity that's going to, set you up for the rest of your life, and all you have to do is join and, press play and blend shakes, and you're all going to get rich. And that's not what I told my friends there either. I said, you know what? Good opportunities take time, but great opportunities happen all at once. And I said, this has come to us for a reason. I firmly believe this has come to us for a reason at this point in time in our lives, and I think that we'd be silly not to just give it a try. And that's all I said to him. I said, let's get out there and give it a try. Let's go and change a few other people's lives, and let's change our own in the process. Help enough people get what they want, help enough people solve their problems, you'll eventually solve your own, and you'll eventually get what you want. I said, let's stop thinking about us, let's start thinking about other people, and let's get out there and share this with as many people as possible and just see what happens. What do we have to lose at this point in time? Maybe I go $100,000 and $500 in debt. But you moved into your mother's wine cellar instead of her basement? Like, what do we have to lose at this point in time? Let's just try. And we did exactly that. We threw a challenge party. We got together with a group of our people and our friends, and we went and attended an event together down in Denver. And we came back and we just absolutely started running with it. And within 45 days, we hit the position of ambassador. But the really exciting part about that was that we had helped 19 of our friends qualify for their BMWs, which means on average, they're making about an extra $1,600 a month on average. The average bankruptcy could be avoided with $500 a month. The average bankruptcy could be changed. And we took those stories at that point in time, and then we started telling everybody about them. We started sharing the successes that we had. And from those success stories that we had created, and from the other people that decided to come on and work with us and take a shot at this as well, within 9 months, in the month of December, we hit a position called 5-Star Ambassador. So in 9 months, we ran to 5-Star Ambassador. What that means is that we were making, Jennifer and I were making, on average, more monthly income than I had been making in any of my other companies before that on an annual basis. That was life-changing. That was monumental. Because the really crazy thing about that is that we weren't working our butts off in December. We were actually on back-to-back vacations. We were on 2 vacations. We came back at the end of December, and we had made more money that month than we did the month before and qualified for a $250,000 bonus check. We were on vacation, and we made more money that month than the month before when we were working. What happened there? I was like, what the heck? That doesn't make any sense. If you guys didn't go to work next month, how much money would you make in December? Would you even have a job? At that point in time, I became very open. What's the key word there? Open to analyzing the concept and the idea of what the wealthy call residual and passive income. This is one of the things that wealthy people understand that they just don't want to tell us broke people at the time. Residual and passive income means that you can actually do something once and get paid on it time after time after time after time after time. And I didn't fully understand it when I got into Ambassasor. But when I took vacations and I was someplace hot and I came back and I made more money, it started to really click for me. It really started to click. And at that point, I became passionate about teaching people not only about how to be able to make money from an entrepreneurial standpoint, but it's not about the money you make, it's about the quality of the money you make. I would rather take $10,000 base residual income that increases every single day by 2% than I would a $50,000 paycheck. I would rather have a penny that doubles every day for 30 days than I would $1 million check. Because that penny, by the end of that run, will be worth about $4 million, $8 million on day 31. That's called compounding residual and passive income. Everybody say, ah. See, that is something, once I started to understand that got me very excited. We ran and we continued to run an understanding and sharing with people about that kind of concept, and we went from $100,000 in debt within 15 months to becoming millionaires with the company in 15 months. And the really neat part about that is that we continue to build and we continue to change other people's lives and help other people hit their goals and achieve their dreams. And now 28 months later, 2.5 years in, the really cool part about the story is not the money from our standpoint. Now it's been 100% from where we got started is about changing other people's lives and helping other people do that. We look now at what we've done, the road that we've created, the path that we've carved. We've helped create, just in our organization now, 330 6- and 7-figure income earners. That is exciting. Because that is 330 people's lives who has completely, their whole reality has shifted. Their whole life has changed. But the dynamite part about that is not even those individuals that are making 6- and 7-figure income earners. It's the thousands of people. It's the 6,000 people that are making an extra couple thousand a month. It's about the tens of thousands of people that are running and operating a successful home-based business when, a couple of years ago, they never even thought that would be possible for them. It's about the tens of thousands of people that are seeing results from the product and having their lives change from a health standpoint. It's about the 10 million pounds that have been lost over the last handful of years. That's what Visalis is all about. That's what this movement is all about. That's what this culture is all about, is helping people realize that there's another way that's out there. Whether it's weight loss or whether it's income, there's another way than what you're doing. And this way, I don't know about you, is absolutely working. When you look at a company that every single 40 minutes somebody's qualifying for the position of regional director, meaning they qualify for the $600 car payment for the black BMW of their choice, and an extra, on average, $1,600 a month. Every single 40 minutes. Since you guys have been here, somebody just like you has had their lives altered and their lives changed. Because that 1,600 is not just 1,600. That 1,600 has the ability to compound over time, and continuously grow each and every month. Every 1.3 days, guys, somebody qualifies and hits the position of ambassador with this company. That's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. And, we've been very blessed, obviously, and we've been very honored to be able to talk to people about this company and what it's done. And we've been very honored to be able to speak with you guys and many people just like you right across North America. However, where we've been and where we're going are two completely different things. Success leaves clues, right? Success leaves what? Clues. If you have a company that has been featured not once, twice, 3 times, but 4 times in Success Magazine, featured in Wall Street Journals and MSNBC and media after media after media after media, talking about how we're the #1 home-based business in North America over the past 3 years. Do you think that will continue to grow? Do you think that's something that might continue? And do you think that's something that could as well be a part of your life if you let it? Yes. Do you think that's something that could change your life? Yes. Guys, it changed our lives. I don't know if it could change yours, but one thing that I do know is that I've met tens of thousands of people who it's worked for. Maybe it won't work for you, but maybe it will. What have you got to lose to just try? You've got absolutely nothing to lose. I looked at this. We have a product that works, 10 million pounds lost in the last 3 years, a compensation plan that pays out a BMW, car bonus every single 40 minutes, a team of individuals. I hope you get the chance to be able to meet some of the people here in Des Moines and meet some of the people here that are part of these organizations from the ambassadors that stood up here. Because the great thing about this and what I loved about it is that you were in business for yourself, but not business by yourself. You're in business for yourself, but not in business by yourself. That means that the people that invited you down here truly have vested interest and truly care to be able to help you succeed with this. And if you plug into what they're doing and plug into the system that we've got available, you will have a very strong chance at succeeding at this. You just have to make a decision to try. A product, compensation plan, the system, the team that we have, and the timing that we have is absolutely incredible. Most companies that get to where we're at take about 10 to 20 years. 10 to 20 years. We've done this in 3 years. Our curve of opportunity and the timing that we have has never been more phenomenal. It's never been greater, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better. Guys, if you've ever wanted to be at the right place at the right time, if you've ever wanted to have a shot, if you've ever wanted to have the ability to swing for the fence, how many times have you looked at somebody and said, well, Steve's rich because he bought all that Microsoft stuff. Steve's this because he's friends with Joe, and Joe gave him this insider tip. If I had money back in this day or time, I would have all this money too. We've always got a reason, we've always got an excuse as to why we're not where we want to be. That's me speaking personally. That's what I found. And when I saw this, I saw it as an opportunity for me to finally have my timing, for me to be able to have my shot, and for me to be able to just get up there and do what I'm best, which is swing for the fence. It's just try. That's it. Are you guys willing to give this a try with me? It doesn't matter if you're going to be a customer, if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, that's just trying. Try. Just give it a try. Don't look back at this and say, hey, you know what? I was there when Jay was here and there was 400 people in the room and it was all exciting. But you know what? I couldn't do that because CSI was on. I was too busy. Here's something that I like to think about and I like to say to people is that you can't say you didn't know. What we're doing right now is making a massive difference. It's gaining media attention and publicity like crazy right across North America. With what's happening right now with Ben Silverman and the co-creator of The Biggest Loser, the former president of NBC, he came to us and said, hey, we love what you're doing, and we would like to be a part of creating the next version of what you're doing. And he believes that what we're doing now has the ability to make a bigger impact and a bigger difference than The Biggest Loser has. 7 months from now, 6 months from now, when you're hearing about this again for the third or fourth time, will you talk about how you were too busy when you heard about it today? Or will you talk about how you positioned yourself in front of what's about to happen over the next 6 to 7 months? And talk about how you were finally lucky that your friend brought you down to tell you about this. Because, gang, the worst thing that can possibly happen is to have regret. The worst thing that can happen is regret. It's the worst human emotion ever. 6 months from now, if you've got many of your friends taking this challenge, knowing that you could have led that charge to make a difference in your society and in your group of friends, that will be regret. Every time you see a BMW driving down the street, a black BMW, do not be the person that wonders, what if I had have actually taken my shot? What would have happened if I actually tried? Guys, the last thing I want to say is why not you? Why not you? You've heard all the stories that are up here. You've seen all the people that have had incredible results with the product. You've heard from them right here. These guys are no different than you. They're regular people. I'm no different than any of you guys. Just somebody who made a decision to take a shot. Why not you make a decision to take your shot, to let this be your opportunity, and to just simply get out there and try? Why not you make that decision right here and right now? Make that decision right here and right now. It's a shake that costs $1.50. There's not a lot of thinking that has to be done, as Nick said. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is just try it. So gang, I've had an absolute pleasure down here with you guys, and I know that Des Moines, from what I've seen, is going to be absolutely on fire, because I believe that you guys have had about 100 people, 120 people, 130 people come out to these events and meetings, and I've been doing these across Canada, and I want to tell you something about timing. I've watched market after market after market after market. Up in Canada, we do probably, 15-20% of ViSalus growth comes out of Canada, and we have the same population as California. That's it. And the reason I tell you that is because every marketplace that we have really kicked butt in always goes through this little tiny curve where you get the right people in the right room with the right number, with the right population in the city. And every marketplace goes into a little stint where it says, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this, and then people start hearing about it, and then it goes to here. And as soon as you hit that number of about 300 people in a room, you guys have 370 here. The magic number is 250, to be perfectly honest with you. But 250 to 300 people. The market starts to come together, and more people start to hear about it. You guys think about this with the population you have here. All of you guys go out. Whether you decide to take the challenge or not, you're going to tell somebody about the 90-day challenge. All of you go and do that. It starts to grow like crazy. So this market is going to pop really fast and start creating a lot of really big life-changing incomes for a lot of you, because you were finally at the right place at the right time. Gang, you're here. Take action with it. Do not overcomplicate this, and do not try to come up with a whole bunch of reasons as to why you shouldn't do it. You can talk yourself out of anything. Find a reason why you need to do this and how you can do this, instead of trying to find an excuse. Guys, thanks a lot. We're going to talk here a little bit. We're going to do getting started training here right after. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Be it 1, be it 2, or be it 3, and we'll be right back up here in a bit.